Welcome back everyone to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about what has been an incredibly strong week for Cardano and the broader crypto market. It's honestly been a really good stretch for ADA and for crypto overall, with gains now extending to 5 straight days. At the time of recording this video, we are seeing breakouts happening across the crypto market, and Bitcoin is currently facing one final major test. The last time we saw this exact setup take place and actually confirm, ADA and several other altcoins went on massive rallies of more than 30%. So, the big question now is whether we could see something similar happen again. We're also going to take a look at a few other developments around the crypto market. This video is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered financial investment or trading advice. The views and opinions expressed in this video are based on personal analysis and publicly available information, and they are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any cryptocurrency or financial asset. Cryptocurrency markets are highly volatile and involve significant risk, and prices can change rapidly due to market conditions, news events, or other external factors. Always do your own research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions. The creator of this content is not responsible for any financial losses or decisions made based on the information presented in this video. Can review a couple of charts that we haven't looked at in a while. These charts could potentially be signaling something even bigger building beneath the surface. If you're new here or haven't done it already, make sure you stay connected with the channel because it's completely free and it helps keep you updated whenever new content goes live here. Now let's start by looking at the 15-minute chart for ADA. Recently, we've been focusing quite a lot on the 15-minute time frame, because the crypto market has been experiencing some violent swings. What's important here is that ADA has finally managed to breach above a key trend that we have been watching for a while. We talked multiple times about how the price tested this trend line and got rejected 5 different times, but now we have finally broken through it. This isn't necessarily a massive breakout yet, but it is definitely a step in the right direction. What we're seeing right now is a lot of growing conviction and confidence returning to the crypto space. And this is happening despite the uncertainty taking place overseas and despite the red we've been seeing in the traditional stock market. In fact, if you happen to miss the news, roughly another $1 trillion was wiped out from the stock market yesterday alone. The sell-offs just keep continuing, and there is still the possibility of further escalations internationally. There hasn't been a lot of fresh news over the last 24 hours, but that could always change as we move into the weekend. Even with that uncertainty, crypto is showing strength right now, and ADA is part of that move. The reason this moment is so important is because Bitcoin is currently testing its 50-day simple moving average. The last time Bitcoin confirmed a break above this level was all the way back at the beginning of January. If you remember that period, ADA rallied about 30% shortly after that confirmation. Of course, that doesn't guarantee the same thing will happen again this time, but it's definitely something worth paying attention to. It's also important to note that Bitcoin recently got rejected at its 100-day moving average. The last time we saw a move like this, Bitcoin climbed roughly 10%, and that momentum spilled over into the altcoin market, giving ADA and other altcoins a strong boost. If Bitcoin can break through the current level, there is a lot of open space above it, potentially allowing a run all the way up toward the $81,000 area. That could essentially turn into the counter-trend rally that many traders have been waiting for. If Bitcoin continues upward and ADA follows with a move of around 30% from the current levels or from the recent bottom within its trend, that would bring ADA back toward its longer-term trend line. As we've discussed before, ADA has been trading within a descending channel for quite some time, and a rally like that could push it toward the upper boundary of that channel around the 32 to 33 cent range. Of course, nothing here is guaranteed, and none of this is financial advice. Part of the recent momentum may also be coming from leverage liquidations that occurred over the past 24 hours. Roughly $191 million in leveraged positions were liquidated, which can often help push prices upward when shorts get squeezed. We're also seeing traders become more confident on the long side. The long to short ratio for ADA is currently around 1.04, meaning there is about a 4% imbalance favoring long positions. That growing confidence is also reflected in the rising open interest for ADA, which has increased by about 10%. Across the broader crypto market, open interest has risen roughly 6% to around $108 billion, which actually be the highest level we've seen since early February, when the market was still declining. This suggests that confidence is slowly but steadily returning to the crypto space. Of course, markets can always change quickly. Momentum could fade as we approach the weekend, and prices could lose steam if new negative news appears. But it is definitely refreshing to finally see a green week forming after the volatility we've been dealing with. Now, I also want to revisit two charts that we haven't looked at in a while. The first one compares Bitcoin to the US 500 index. Historically, whenever Bitcoin breaks above local resistance on this chart, we've seen significant rallies follow. Earlier in January, we saw a similar breakout which led to a strong rally in both Bitcoin and the broader crypto market. Eventually, the move failed and price dropped back below the trend line, but toward the end of February, we started to see another breakout attempt, and that move has continued, extending into early March. What this suggests is that the crypto market currently be outperforming the stock market. Previously, crypto dropped first due to macroeconomic concerns, including the Black Swan event back in October, and later the tariff-related news that impacted digital assets more heavily than traditional equities. The stock market lagged behind that decline. Now we may be seeing the opposite effect, where crypto begins to diverge and outperform stocks once again. A similar pattern is visible when looking at the Total 3 index compared to the US 500. We are starting to see separation from the trend line and a gradual extension upward. Historically, when we've seen this type of divergence occur in both Bitcoin and Total 3, it has often led to some of the most powerful rallies in the crypto market over the past several years. That's why it's possible that we could be setting up for a counter-trend rally, especially if Bitcoin can successfully pass this test at the 50-day moving average and push toward the 100-day moving average or even beyond. Moves like that have often turned into major bear market rallies in the past. For example, if we look back at ADA during the previous bear market, we saw rallies of around 93% and even around 70% at different stages. So, just because the market is technically in a bearish phase does not mean that prices cannot rally or that we cannot see strong green moves on the charts. And right now, we are definitely seeing some of that strength appear again. Hopefully the momentum continues and hopefully the news flow remains relatively stable. What the market really needs right now is for there to be no major negative surprises heading into the weekend. Also want to remind everyone that we are getting some GDP data today, so it's possible that the market could be building momentum ahead of that release before potentially seeing volatility afterward. That's definitely something traders should keep an eye on as the day unfolds. Thanks for watching today's update, and if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any future crypto market updates.